Hey everybody, welcome back to One Seed, One World. So when you are growing your garden and thinking about different types of vegetables and herbs and flowers that you might want to add, you can try different new things each year and do them in small amounts to see how they work for you. And then if you like it, you can then expand on that crop in future seasons. And so I've done that here with different things. Some things that I've tried out didn't end up caring for, didn't grow them again. Other things became a regular thing in my garden. Today, I wanted to go over something that I tried this year, and that is black sesame seeds, which maybe you can kind of see on the camera, and I'll show you a close-up too, but these long stalks sticking out behind me are black sesame seeds. Now, black sesame seeds are more of a tropical crop. They are primarily grown in places like Mexico, India, and China that have warmer, more tropical growing seasons, longer growing seasons. But you can grow them in some areas of the United States, especially if you give them a little help with maybe starting them early inside and then transplanting outside. Generally, sesame seeds to grow, they take about 6 months to get to harvest. So like these I planted around April-ish, I think like beginning of April, end of March, beginning of April. And now here we are in mid to late September. Actually today is the first day of fall. And these are ready to be harvested. The plants are fairly easy to start growing. You can start them inside, as I mentioned, especially if you don't have a 6-month growing season where, with no frost, where it's warm enough. They like soil temperatures to be around 70 degrees. So you can start them inside, but they sprout and germinate pretty readily. They might go through a little bit of transplant shock. You're going to need to harden them off. But once they get going, they will start producing. And they're kind of a pretty plant. They're not that pretty right now because they're coming to the end of their season. But throughout the year, you get these tall stalks. They probably get 2 to 3 feet tall sometimes, depending on where and how you're growing them. But about 2 to 3 feet tall, and get lots of little purple flowers on them. That then these purple flowers will turn into seed pods that at first are green, and then once they are ready to harvest, they will turn brown. The leaves on the plant will start to turn yellow and drop off, and the pods themselves, the seeds in them, will pop open. Now this can cause a challenge because when they pop open, you start losing seeds. So sometimes especially in larger commercial growing situations, they will harvest them a little bit early before they pop open and then like hang dry them so until the pods pop open and they don't lose all the seeds. I didn't do that here. I just let them grow, and I can see seeds in these pods. And like I said, I will show you some close-ups, but you can grow your own sesame seeds. I mean, they're used in all different types of cuisines. There's records of them going back 4,000 and 5,000 years. In China, I think some of the earliest records go back 5,000 years. And for black sesame seeds, they would use them for medicinal purposes, for cooking. They also used the black sesame seeds for a soot, for like an ink block. And so there's different things you can use them for, and of course there's always sesame seed oil if you're able to have like an oil press or do those kinds of things with it. I'm not getting into all that. I just wanted some sesame seeds to cook with. But the seeds themselves are about 50% oil, so they do contain a lot of oil in the seeds, and it's got a very awesome nutty flavor. If you've ever cooked with sesame oil, you know you only need like small bits of it to go a long way. But it's used in a lot of Indian cuisines, in Japanese cuisines. They use it a lot, especially like in sushi. They'll use it the seeds on top of sushi. I think the Cantonese make it's like a dessert soup, I think, out of it. I can't pronounce a lot of the terms, so I won't go into all that. But if you want to look up Cantonese recipes for black sesame seeds, you will find all the information there. Now, also in history, there's, of course, white sesame seeds too, and those were primarily used more in ancient history, like in Greek and Roman times. They used them a lot for different types of cooking, for oil, burning the oil for lamps. I believe it was the Romans that would use it. It was either the Greeks or the Romans that would use the white sesame seeds to make an energy enhancing paste before battle. So, it has a lot of different things going on. They're very high in vitamin B and different variations of B, like B12 and all that kind of B6, I think. And then they also contain a lot of fiber, specifically lignin, if I'm pronouncing that properly, fiber, which really helps the body with digesting stuff. It's good for your gut. So a lot of cool things about it. Pretty flowers, long stalks. Each plant will probably give you a good amount of seeds. We'll see how many I get out of here. I mean, I've read different things, and maybe it depends on the varieties, anywhere from like 80 to 100 seeds per plant. Sorry, I misspoke. You don't get 50 or 80 seeds per plant. That's seed pods, which makes a big difference because these seed pods have a lot of little seeds in them once they are ready. They're too small to tell you for sure, but there's a lot of seeds in each pod. So if you get, say, 80 pods per plant, and then each one, if you don't lose too many, has, I don't know, 20 or more seeds in there, you're going to get a lot of seeds per plant. Now, they are kind of a pain when they're not completely, like some of these, they didn't come out as well. Now, they can be kind of a pain to shell. Each of these pods kind of have like these, I think this is going to come up on the camera, let's see. Each of these pods, when you open them up, they have like all these little creases in there. This one, I've already got most of the seeds out, I think. But if you can maybe see all those little creases in there, well, the seeds are tucked all way down in these creases. And so you kind of have to like open them up to get all the seeds out. It's almost like it's tucked down in a little envelope. And the plants will, if they are in a good spot, they can keep producing up until basically like frost kills them off. Mine actually have some new sprouts now coming off the end because we've still had warm weather. Even though a lot of the leaves have dropped off of it, I've got new sprouts and new green pods coming on. So it's going to keep producing for me, and until it gets too cold out. So try growing some sesame seeds. You're going to want to plant them in an area that gets about 6 to 8 hours of sun per day. They like a loamy soil, it's well draining. And once they've been germinated, like when you first plant the seeds, you want to keep the soil moist. Plant the seeds about a ½ inch deep, and keep the soil moist, not soggy wet, but just moist, until they're sprouted. And then once they get going, they prefer their roots to dry out a little bit, like in between watering. So you don't want to like water them every day or anything. They're very drought tolerant, so maybe like a once a week watering kind of thing. Give them a good watering, let the soil dry back out again before you give them another good watering. They may need some trellising, or at least some staking to kind of help hold them up straight. I have them planted on the back of my scarlet runner beans, which are kind of trying to take over them. So I'm going to pick these now and see if I can't get them moved out of the way of the scarlet runner beans. But they would probably do better in a more open spot than where I have them here. I kind of just stuck my transplants back here, not thinking about how big my scarlet runner beans get. So give them a little room to grow, and you might need some like little bamboo stakes or something to kind of help them more stand upright. And then just be ready to start picking them when those pods start to turn brown and pop, so that you can get as many seeds as you can. Otherwise, if you leave them too long, the seeds will all just fall out on the ground. And I'm sure I've probably already lost some here. But sesame seeds, they're a unique thing to grow in your garden, to try something new. Try, you know, just planting a few or three. Like, I think I only had 3 this year that I just wanted to see how they did, and I really liked the way that they looked throughout the summer. And now I'm excited to get some seeds out of here, so I want to plant more of them next year. So if you have planted sesame seeds in the past, put in the comments below and let me know how it went for you and what you use them for. Do you make oil out of them? Do you just like use the seeds in cooking? Do you make your own sushi and add it to that? Or do you get more in depth in your recipes? And if you do, let us know below. But I appreciate that you're here hanging out with me again today. And whatever's going on in your neck of the woods, hope it's working out fantastic for you, and that you're growing some different unique plants this year. But we'll see you again soon. Have a great day. Namaste.